Hey everybody, this is Corey from CJ Custom Fishing Lures, bringing you the start of my painting series. I have been painting fishing lures for a good 5 or 6 years and selling them for the last 3 or 4 years, and I've had people ask to wonder how I do it. So I decided it is time to put together a little series. So I'm going to be painting a variety of different lures over however many weeks and how many times I can do this, and the different designs and the different patterns that I use. So today I'm going to start with a 1.5 Square Bill. I'm going to be painting one of my classic Fire Tiger patterns. You notice that I do have the bill all taped up. I use the blue painter tape to do that, and the rest of the crankbait has been prepped and ready to go. We're going to be using 8 different colors. I'm going to be showing you that as we do it, but I always start with most of my baits with a good coat of opaque white, and I do use it from Createx, which is this water-based type paint here, which I find to be very, very good in the coating of it. And so I'm going to put a base coat on here so I can start painting it. So I will be using my airbrush that I'm going to be using is just a basic Neo Iwata. I don't use expensive airbrushes. I just try to use the basic stuff and use it. It is a dual one where you push down and then you pull back for the paint to come out to get the air flowing. So I'm just going to take this, no specific way, just to start coating it. Taking the technique from Jen Cavassi down at Jackal Baits. When it comes to putting the base coat on, just get it on there. And that's what I'm going to do here. So just spraying it to make sure it's nice and coated on there as well. And then when I have it on there, I'm not going to put a heavy base coat on where I put a couple coats on, because I will be covering it with other colors throughout this painting session. So I'm going to clean out the white that I have in there. I'm not going to necessarily scrub it out, because the next paint I'm going to use from Createx as well is a pearl white, and you will find out through this video I do a lot of pearls, and I got this one from Hobby Lobbies, but it's a pearl white, and it helps to bring the bait alive a little. We will be covering the whole bait, so we won't necessarily see the white and the pearl white with it, but it gives it that underlying base, and it helps to allow for a little shine to come through. Again, just a little bit on there. When I get that on, that's all I'm going to put on. I'm going to clean out my airbrush, and when I clean out my airbrush, I don't do anything special. I just have a spray bottle of water, and then I have a little bucket where I dump it out, spray it into, so I can clean it out. And you can see a little bit on the video my jar that I put my brush into as well. And then for this part here, I'm going to take my heat gun and I'm going to heat set it. I don't want all the layers to be wet, so I'm going to try to give some of the layers a little heat set to dry, to make the baits fall on there a little, or the paint to fall on the baits a little better. I'm not going to get this totally dry, but it's going to be. So if I bring it up here, you can see, boy, hopefully you can see some of the pearl shine popping through there. Now the next step I do is I'm going to be going to my pearl black. I'm not going to spray the stripes on, but what I like to do for a lot of my baits is I like to give it a little depth or definition. And to do that, all I'm going to do is take the black and do nothing more than just spritz it on there, and just kind of splatter it on there. And I'm not trying to go heavy, just taking a little light. Might back up a little bit. Just trying to put some small dots on there. It gives it a little definition, gives it a little depth, but also, in some of the places I have fished, I have caught perch, I have caught some panfish, and this is a small there, that have these black dots on them. And so I just wanted to give that little image there as we're going through there. So again, it's to give it a little depth give it a little definition, and give it a little pattern of some stuff in nature. We know the fire tiger takes in a lot of different colors and a lot of different patterns. But as you can see, I'm not doing anything heavy with the black dots. Just kind of spreading them on there. Now we're going to start the major part of the lure. I'm going to be first using Pearl Tangerine. It's a very pearl orange type. Most of the time, I use a transparent orange. And this is a little lighter in color than this tangerine one. This comes out a little darker. I do like it for this pattern to have that little dark, but I use this on the belly. And it helps out because as I've done the spritzing, as you can see, we have the spots on there. And this is going to help bring it to life as well. Simply, I'm just going to take the pressure, and I have the pressure down a little bit, and I'm just going to coat right up and down the belly of this lure. Making sure I get by the eye hook there. I am going to go up the sides a little because it's going to help with the blending of the color. I'm not spraying it heavy, just keeping it nice and light. I will spray the tail end different colors, but that's all I'm going to do right there. It makes it look really, really nice having that orange belly with it. So, now that we're done with that, I will clean that out. And then I'm going to go to the body color with this fire tiger. For the body color, usually use a nice little yellow. And again, though, I want to use the pearl colors. So I'm going to use Createx pearlized pearl pineapple. It's a yellow, but it comes in called pineapple. Now, I didn't heat set my orange because I like the way that the yellow and the orange blend in this pattern when it's still a little wet. Sometimes I will heat set it different colors, which we'll do with the next one. But for this one, I'm not going to do that. I am going to paint the whole top, even though that's going to be a different color, and try to bring it right down the sides to blend in. So just nice and easy, not shooting a lot of air out, keeping good trigger control, trying to bring it down around the side so I can blend it in with the orange that's on the bottom. Now, I never really thought much of the fire tiger pattern until I went fishing with a buddy up on one lake, and he was using it in a lipless crankbait, and it really caught my eye of how well the smallmouth and even the largemouth were hitting it. So I've been starting to paint it. So you see, got the top, you can see the shine and the pearl with it, and you can see how it transitions right into the orange, and that's what you want. You want to go from one color, the orange, so it transitions right into the yellow. You don't want to see distinct lines. You want to see it kind of blend into the next one. And so that's where we're going to go with the yellow. I'm going to clear that out of my airbrush. Now, a lot of times, like, people will cut the video to clean this stuff out. I'm trying to keep it going, so you can see how long this might take once you get pretty good at the pattern, and just so you can see the whole process of what's going on. So now I'm going to use a pearlized green. Sorry for the coating here, I sprayed many times with it. So pearlized green, which we're going to put on the top of this bait, on the top, and we're going to come down the sides. And we're not going to necessarily spray like on the sides like this. I'm going to put it on the top, and hopefully I can come over the sides just a little bit and have the overspray come in and fill that up. That would be ideal if we can make that happen. Some people ask me why I shoot a lot of the pearl paints. I like the pearl paints. I think it brings it to life. It's a different look in the water. Most of them have that dull, and the pearls bring it. And as I was playing with somebody one time, if a little flash off a pearl or iridescent is what catches a fish's eye and you catch it, power to you. I think that's awesome. So here we go. For this one, where the other ones I just kind of went around, I am going to start by going front to back and see if I can get the good solid stripe at the top and the overspray down this side. So we're getting nice and solid at the top. You can start to see the overspray coming down. I'm going to move over just a little bit on the shoulder part of it, and you see it coming on the side. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Just a little off to the side. So you can see it start to trickle down. Now when we put our black stripes on, because that's with the Fire Tiger, it's going to cover up a lot of that. But we just want to make sure we can get that green in there, that hint of green underneath those stripes. Again, I'm staying toward the shoulders or the top and letting the overspray do the job. And if we were to look at the top, nice and pearl, covered up the yellow, but it still looks good. And if we were to sit here in transition colors, right down to the green, right into the yellow, right into the orange. That's a beautiful blending of colors. And as I said, I love looking at the pearls. One time, I also use iridescents. I'm not going to use them on this bait, but I got accused of using metallic tape because of the iridescents and the metallics I use. But I took that as a compliment. Some people thought I might be insulted, but no, I took that as a compliment that somebody thought I could do that. Paint something that looked like metallic tape. And now we got the basic color done of the Fire Tiger pattern. Now, I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to put it back up here. But you can see some of those black spots coming out inside. Not heavy, not a lot, but just enough to give it a little definition, give it a little depth. I also do a lot of soft plastics. And again, if you're a person that does soft plastics and you put the little tiny flake in, all it does is give it a little definition. And that's what happens here. So now I'm going to heat set this. Even though I've been talking and it's been drying up. Again, one trick is you don't want to keep the gun sitting like this on the bait. You don't want to keep the bait still. You want to keep them both moving. That prevents the heat from staying in one spot. It prevents your paint from getting cracked. And it allows you to get the whole bait dried off. Man, this is looking good. All right. Now, to put the tiger stripes on, one thing I use is I use a stencil. And I got this stencil from Backwater Outfitting. You can get it from a variety of places. And so what's going to happen is this is going to sit in here nice, and we'll spray these segments to create the lines. Now, some people might say, hey, why don't you freehand? I've been trying to freehand. For some reason, my hand shakes a lot when I do the freehanded at the airbrush. I have tried painting the lines on, which I've done successful. But for this lure and for my 2.5 crankbaits, I really like the way this pattern comes on. So I have the front, the back, the left and the right, and all I do is take binder clips and clip it on. Now, hopefully, things have dried up so the paint will stick to the sides. And also when we take it off, we gotta be careful we don't scratch the lure as well. So what's gonna happen, now that it's in here, we're going to take the black again, our pearl black, and we're gonna start by spraying across the top. We're not just gonna shoot straight on this way. We're gonna start here at the top and kind of work our way down. Because the goal is by the time we get down to these little ones down here, we want it to be kind of fading out as we get down to the belly of the bait. Now, if you like solid stripes and solid black heavy stripes all the way down, by all means, spray this way. There's nothing wrong with that. But I want to get it so it fades down toward the bottom. So, that being said, I'm not going to put the bait back in the holder, or I should say in the helping hands. I'm going to hold it this time. My black is coming to an end. So here we are. I'm going to start by just going across the top and filling that in. And then I'm just going to slide down the sides. So by the time I get to the bottom, I have the overspray filling it in. And we're fading out as we get down to the bottom. Because I am going to put another color on that. So the top's going to be kind of heavy. But we're going to slide it on down. And then, just going to flip it over and do the other side the exact same way. Get my line going across the top. and then just kind of fade it down. One thing that could help is angling the bait. And we will see in future with different patterns, the way you angle something might be how much paint or what style of paint gets into a certain area. Because the paint could hit this outside edge and miss this inside, the part that's closest to us, but hit the outer edge, giving it a different look. And that's something we will look at as well. So I'm just taking it right down. Like I said, I'm trying to get to the bottoms here to be fading and a little darker at the top. One thing you can do is just go back over, make sure it's exactly how you want it. That's the beautiful thing about these baits, even custom baits, even if you're making them, unless it's a special order, how you make it is how you want it. That's what makes it a custom bait. All right, I'm going to hit the back end a little bit because on my Fire Tiger, I like the back end to have the darker color. All right. So what I'm going to do now that I have this on here is I'm going to heat set it through the stencil. It's not going to hurt this little bit, but it's going to give the chance for the paint to dry just a little. Now I'm going to flip it to the other side. And you'll notice that I'm wearing the blue latex gloves. I wear them. One, I don't want paint on my hands. And also, you don't want the oils from your hands getting on the paint. So when you go to clear coat, it doesn't make random spots. So I take my clips off, slowly pop this off. And there we go. Look at those lines on there. Beautiful lines. You can still see the green to the yellow to the orange. Pop it out. Doesn't look like I scratched it anywhere. Lines on the other side. Now let me put this back in the helping hands and we'll take a look at it. Now some people might say, hey, I really like this bait. I like the way it looks. Having the lines on the side, having the green top, and you just might want to leave it like this. And you have that right, because it still looks like a great bait. But I'm going to do the top, because I like having the top covered. So I've been watching Zach with Baker Bills. He got me on making the top a little dark to give it that little extra look. So all I'm going to do is, again, go from the front to the back. Going right down that middle line, and I'm going to come over on the shoulders just a little bit because I want to make it look like those lines are connected right to that back spine. So I'm coming off on the side just a little. I don't want to lose the green, but I want it to be there. So make sure it's nice and dark there. Oh, that looks good. I'm going to make the nose, get the eyes covered in because we're going to put a color on them. And so if we look here, nice and black pearl on the top, and if we look, it looks like it connects those lines, the tiger lines right into the black. You can still see the green transition into yellow to orange. That looks really, really nice. So we just got a couple more colors that we're going to put on. Some people like to paint a gill, and when they do that, they usually paint right along the side, take some type of edging, or they're pretty good doing freehand, and they'll paint the gill right here, right along where the gill is here. We're not going to do that today because I'm going to take now transparent red, bright red, from Createx, and just like you will see in some sunfish or panfish, that they have a red breast or red underneath. That's what I like to paint here. So I'm going to take it from just the base of the lip to just behind the first hook eye here. I'm just going to do that red. Nice and easy. I turn the pressure down for a lot with red because red has a tendency to fly out of the gun. So that's all I'm going to do. And the thing is, it gets the gill part, but it also gives it that little red underneath. And then I'm going to hit the back tail. I like having either red or per se orange, depending on the bait in the back, and gives it that little look. That's kind of cool. Kind of cool right there. So Set that down. Put the red away. Clean out the red, or the last little bit of the red, because I only put a couple drops in. And we're going to get ready to shoot our last color. And the last color, before we do it, is kind of a paint shifter to give it that little shine, give it that little sparkle, even more than what's on the pearls. So I want to heat set before I do that. So just going over the top, hitting the belly, making sure the red is good as set. Not that we're going to put any pearl on the, paint shifter on the red or the belly. I'm going to put it mostly on top. And the one I like to use, I've tried a bunch, and I really like this one. It's from Turbo Dork. It's called Electrum. Now this paint is a little thicker per se. So when I put it in here and go to paint it, I have to put some reducer in there to thin it out a little bit. And so the reducer I like to use is the UVS 4010. And I just put a few drops in it. Some people ask, how do you stir it? Well, very simply, I turn my pressure up a little bit. I put my finger, let me go with bait here, on the tip, which will cause a backflow. And I just give it a little pressure, just enough so it bubbles like that. And that right there helps to stir my paint up so I don't have to stick anything in there. So test to make sure it works. And then I just cover my bait. And you can put this on as heavy as you want. You can put it on as light as you want. This will really show up on the black. And really have a nice shine to it. Let me heat set it. Then I'll show you how it does. And again, you can take it down the sides. It reacts with the other colors there. You get some of the best color from using it with the black, and sometimes the bottle tells you what color to use it. So this one, shake well, must used over black, and that's what it tells you there. So take a look here. Hopefully you can see the shine that comes along with it right down into the sides. That looks really, really good. All right, those are the colors that we put on this bait. And right now, I would be done painting it and getting ready to start the clearing process. And I need to let it dry a little. I gotta let it sit so I can do that. But I just wanted to review with you what we put on here. So we started with opaque white, and then we added some pearl white. Some people use different stuff, different type of paints or sealers to put on there. Then did a little speckling with the pearl black. Then we did the belly part and a nice pearl tangerine. Then we did the upper body in the mid in a pearl pineapple. Then we did the top and came down the shoulders a little in pearl green. When that was all done, we did the stripes and the spine in a nice pearl black. Afterwards, we used the bright red, transparent red, not opaque, but transparent red, to do the belly and the tail. And then last, to do the paint shifter on top, we use Electrum from Turbo Dork. And this bait is right where it's at. Now the next step to spray on here, which I have to let this dry, so I won't be able to do this, I'll do it off camera, is I will be mixing a 4050 gloss, UVLS 4050 gloss, and I'll be putting some 4010 reducer in this, and when you put them in, mix it all up, you will spray it on. And what this does is it locks in the color. It locks it in to help prevent it from per se scratching, just give it that little extra way for the color to pop out. And then I'll let that dry, add the eyes, put my little signature on the bottom, and then I'll clear coat it. So hopefully you've had a chance to see that and learn about the steps I use to take this. I will be showing you the final product at the end of the video, so please stay tuned to see that. If you do like this series, and please like and subscribe, because I plan to put out more. I plan to do some of my topwater ploppers. I have rat baits I like to do. I even have some swim baits I like, as well as other patterns and 2.5s and these as well. So thank you for watching. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me. Hopefully you've learned some stuff, and I encourage you to watch other painters as well. That's what I have done to learn. Some of the main ones, as I've given you some of the names, of Zach Barker up at Baker Builds, Jen Cravassi with Jekyll Baits. I've watched Frank Ponton with Clark Hill Baits, and I think I even forget the guy's name, but Krusty Cranks is somebody else I watch as well. Take some time, look at, use the techniques, and do this for you to make some really cool baits for your tackle box the way you want them. So thank you for taking the time to watch, and I look forward to making the next video for you. Until then, this is Corey from CJ Custom Baits, where we make serious baits for serious fish.